Hello, everyone. Always great to be here.
Hello.
It is, midday for Heidi and I. And so sometimes we get chatting away and talking about our days and all the fun things, you guys. So I hope you guys have somebody in your life that you get to like chit chat with and have a little like download with, because I realized I have a few of those people in my life. And without them, it just, I don't know, like you don't get to enjoy everything because it's just kind of just like sharing the moments, right? So we hope you guys have people that you get to share the moments with because it's really fun.
Yeah, and that you take the time to do it, and it gives you a moment of relax and reprieve, just to like, oh, my person. Here's one of my people that get me.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, it's
And
a
so
good boost.
it's a good boost, right? And sometimes it's not like you think, oh, that happens at home, but sometimes your partner might have no idea what you're talking about and they're there kind of listening and you're downloading, but they're not like sharing it, like the juiciness, because that's not their field, or they don't get it, or they don't anything. So that's good, but find somebody who really gets you, because then you're just like, and then it's fun because you're always in the discovery mode about what about you? What about you? How about I tried this? I did this. I did. It's just so fun, you guys. So life is too short to not be able to have those great dialogues. So anyways, let us know who's your dialogue person. Be so fun. So welcome, everybody. It's so great to be here. I know most of all of you guys know Dr. Heidi and myself. So today we're going to kind of just jump right in.
Let's do it.
We have heard so much talk, and I think today, Dr. Heidi, it's more talk today than ever before, meaning people, I've heard doctors, so many of my doctor friends stepping out of traditional medicine, going out on their own, or doing a hybrid or something with concierge medicine, really wanting to service clients a little easier, faster, better, fuller, things like that. And I think clientele, meaning all of you out there listening, have all probably had an experience of being frustrated with not being able to get in to see your doctor for 6 weeks, 3 months, who knows? Or you had an experience that you finally are getting to go to the doctor and you just can't, you're like, I can't say you're excited to go to the doctor, but you're like really glad you're going to the doctor. And you go in and literally you have 5 minutes with that person. And you're like, but wait, hold on. And so there is this missing gap people are finding. And maybe you guys have experienced that firsthand yourself or with a loved one, that like, how can you have more access? And really, I mean, Heidi, share more about the kind of this evolution of this concierge medicine that's really started of, I mean, because there has to be, you know, a reason or a why that people want it. And then ultimately doctors saw a need and said, okay, we're going to do this.
Yeah. You know, I think it emerged out of a frustration of the doctors. They want more time with you too, right? Their patients come in, they're seeing, 100 patients a day. They're 10 minutes. Insurance says you have to have this and that. And they had such a crazy model to work with that I think their intention and their heartfelt, they became a doctor to help people, right? They came into this wanting to help people, and they're not able to do that. I always talk about, I think I really feel for MDs, because oftentimes they feel like they're practicing medicine with one arm tied behind their back, because they can't do all the things they want. They can't spend the time with you and ask you the nitty-gritty questions. They can only focus on the one subject of the one thing, kind of. And so I think it emerged out of that frustration that they wanted to have more access with their client. They wanted to have more time with their client to really give them a health experience and to go through blood tests appropriately and things like that. So I think it started out of that thought process, and because they have to go out of the insurance model to do that. Mm-hmm. So that's how that concierge medicine came up. They needed their time compensated.
Yes. And I'm sure some patients ask them, like, can I get your number? How can I access you more? Right? Like, And so that probably got the wheels spinning of how could I make this possible so people could have more access.
Yeah.
And so now I would say maybe the past 10 years, right? People have been doing this. I mean, it's probably always existed, right? Like you paid for like the doctor to come to your house in old school. They had their bag. You see it in the movies. Um, they pay them
God,
their
I miss those
quarter.
days.
um, but now people are kind of really wanting to bring it back. And there's a few ways that we see it historically now been happening. And probably the most common way is people are paying practitioners a flat annual fee. Maybe they pay monthly, but in general, you pay this flat annual fee to say, I have you for concierge medicine. I'm going to pay you 10 grand, 5 grand, whatever. But that 5 grand or 10 grand really just goes to you having the privilege of having a phone number or access point to this doctor. And then when they get back to, with then an appropriate response time to get back to you and access to them. But when they see you for an appointment, then you're paying for the appointments.
Yeah.
But the fee is just have access. That's what people want, is access. And so the one thing that has come up is, well, that's in a traditional doctor, call it maybe internal medicine, family practice, something like that. And we really, when I say we, now I'm talking about you guys, Heidi and myself, have realized that people have access to each one of us when they come to our services one-on-one. Then, unless you're like my best friend, you don't really have access until your next session, or they have their next appointment with you, Heidi, right?
Right.
Maybe they'll answer a question in the portal or something if they have a quick question. But how does life roll? What we really realized is life rolls, and sometimes things come up in the moment. Sometimes things come up and then either you forget or it passed, or it's, I kind of need to know it now. And in order to make habits stick and changes, having access to having questions and accountability is really key. But where does that really exist?
Yeah, it doesn't really exist. Even in the functional model, right? That doesn't exist as much, right? It's better than the traditional, but when you're paying for concierge medicine, you're still paying for sick care. There's nothing about that particular model that is encouraging, supporting, supplying information to keep you well. It's having access to the doc when you get sick. And this is like totally flipped what it should be. It should be you're paying for someone to keep you well. In Chinese medicine, in acupuncture, the Chinese doctor had families, took care of families, and they were paid as long as the family was well. They stopped getting paid when the family got sick, because the job of that doctor was to be well. So that's the tradition.
Oh my gosh, that's mind-blowing.
Yeah. So that's what real true concierge medicine would be to handle all the things, because 84% of the illnesses and diseases all are diet and lifestyle adjustments, changes, etc. There's so much that could be done for wellness in concierge medicine, and not wait till you get sick and you're behind the 8 ball.
Okay, you guys, are you like not excited? Like this conversation, you should start going like, oh my God, that would be so awesome. Oh my gosh, to be able to have concierge wellness. Where can I go get concierge wellness? You might have like a subscription at a place that you get like a weekly or monthly massage. Maybe you pay a flat monthly fee, go to the chiropractor to get adjusted once or twice a month, and you get like a massage once a month, right? So those are good things to have as far as wellness tools, helping your body heal and recover, staying well. But what if we talked about having a place that you could build a lifestyle like you were talking about, Heidi, right? I've heard so many different ranges. People used to say 82, 87. Somebody the other day had some statistic of like 92 or something, right? I mean, it's just wild, you guys, to think that that is how much each and every one of you are in control of your health.
Yeah.
That means a little bit is related to disease. But if you knew how to build a lifestyle that met your specific needs for your biology, your cellular health, what your DNA says. Like, let's build a program that matches you, take this nice little beautiful unique blueprint for you, and then you've got coaches to help you follow it. Because changes are hard, right? Anytime things are new, different, changes are hard. Who likes change? Normally when you have like a change, the brain says, whoa, 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 we haven't seen that before. Let's retreat, go back into what's comfortable. I don't think so. That change doesn't seem good. And so therefore, that's why most programs, diets, whatever fail. You guys, I mean, like, we don't need to rehash that. It's pretty normal. You try something new and our brain's not wired that way. We got to like overrule it. Honestly, it's like, what's the overhaul system? The overhaul system is to immerse yourself and have somebody hold your hand. Like, you got this, you got this. I know it feels weird. I know it's uncomfortable. I know you feel like it's a challenge. I know you've never gone there before, but you can do it. And then you're like, oh, this is the new normal. I feel so much better. I don't have that stomach pain every time I'm eating anymore. I actually don't have achy joints anymore. But it's this immersion to wellness. And honestly, Heidi, I do believe, which you and I were chatting about a lot before, is the mindset.
Yeah. You can't go into it with just like tipping your toe in the water. Oh, it's not too bad. I'll gradually go back in. You never will gradually in. You have to really immerse yourself in it, have people around you that support you. And this is partly why the mindset gets shifted, because people around are naysayers, negative, make fun of you, shame you, these changes because they're not normal in the norm, to make those changes. And that's why to immerse yourself sort of in what we're talking about, concierge medicine, where you get the right tests done, you get the right diet addressed, workouts, lifestyle, all of it in one, and you get the coaching and you get the support from mindset. This is difficult, but you got this, just like you said, to hold your hand. No, just step around this rock. No. It's just a little climb over the ledge. It's not a drop off. It's the guides that have the eyes to help you see until you can, and then you become a guide.
Yeah. You become a guide. That's so great. And let's see, you guys pick a number that you think in your head you'd really like to live to. Okay. Like, don't even see yourself well, sick, anything. Just like, would it be cool to live to, like, do you think 94, 89, 107? Like, pick something you're like, okay, but here's the deal. You probably only want to live that long if you're feeling well. If I would say you're going to get a chronic disease in the next couple of years and you're going to live with that chronic disease until that age, you'd be like, no way. Then forget it. I don't want to go to that number, right? But if you could have that number and live really well up until whatever that number is, like, give me that life. That's what I think we'd all want.
Yeah.
And that's what's really possible. This was really interesting, Heidi, from various sources. Longevity and community have come up, meaning in the longevity community, they're really been talking about the key indicator to longevity is being in the right community. And it's the community that all wants and supports the right habits, right? If you're in the wrong community, they don't eat that way, they don't talk that way, they don't believe that way, you will not live, like, you will not have longevity. Here's the other flip side. All of this, we need habits and rituals. The number one indicator in supporting habits and rituals is community. Number one. So many of you guys are probably familiar with Atomic Habits by James Clear. Mm-hmm. He was writing the book, and while he wrote the book and even published the book, people were saying, well, what is the number one thing? What's the number one thing to help you with habits? And he couldn't answer it, and he didn't answer it in the book. It was published, and he's kept studying and he kept studying. And now publicly, he's come out and told everybody, hands down, amongst everything else, the number one thing to implement habits and have them be consistent and apply them to your life is the community and the people you surround yourself with.
Absolutely. And, to speak to that, the blue zones, that was also a great study and work on the community. It was about community because everyone ate the same way. They shared the food, they shared their meals, they shared the collecting of the food, the joy, the gratitude, they shared it all. And that's what we need, is the immersion of the community, that everyone around us is thinking the same. It's when we start diverting out that, oh, you should look like this, you should have the shoulds. It's really all about community and just enjoying each other, supporting each other, immersion into that.
So you guys, it's interesting. So let's go back to our original kind of topic of concierge health, right? Wellness in general, health. We started off talking about medicine because it really has evolved from doctors stepping out to say, let me help my patients more, and patients really demanding more access. Like, I'll pay you, come help me, I'll pay you more. And so then we said, okay, but yes, that's still looking at the sick model, right? That's really what Heidi was saying, is after you're sick, I need help. So where could we swing this model to, like, let's stay well, but I need habits and lifestyle, because now we know that that's the primary way to stay well. But in order to live long and to keep your habits in place to live long, you've got to have a community. So with all of this in mind, Heidi and I were just brainstorming on, well, my program's in isolation, her program's in isolation. What if we bring things together in a collective, per se, that you had this beautiful container of concierge wellness? Who would like that?
Right.
Like, let us know, tell us who would like concierge wellness. So
Raise
Heidi,
your hand.
raise your hand
on the rooftop.
Yeah. So Heidi, tell us, like, what that would look like for somebody when they're like, I can't even wrap my head around that. Like, what would that look like?
Yeah, it would be, oftentimes people who are seeking health are listening to podcasts. They're reading books, they're getting informed because they're looking for, well, what test should I do? What's really going on? Do I need to test for parasites? How much vitamin D should I take? They have all these questions. Well, what's the right exercise for me? I know the one size doesn't fit all. I get that, but what is the right exercise for me? And what are my genetics, and what do they say? And how do they integrate it all? That's what it is. You would come in, you would be properly evaluated through modern day testing. Hey, I mean, it's fabulous. We're using the testing to give us a big picture. And then the art of functional medicine is we stack the phases on how we really help get your body to function at its most efficient level and optimal level for you, including, better digestion, better elimination, better detox, much better sleep, hormone balance, brain support. And this is a big gap in traditional medicine, as we're still predominantly treating from the neck down, when much of the time people will come in, yep, they clearly have digestion issues, yep, they clearly have sore joints and poor detox, yep, but they also have a brain problem, and nobody addresses it. You have to ask the right questions, you have to go to the right forums, do the right testing to see, is this a brain problem or is this truly a gut problem? And that's where you get the difference. It's not cookie cutter. It's not everyone's treated the same. The testing oftentimes is the same. And then based on those testing, we build on it. But we build a program from diet, exercise, sleep for you, and support you all the way through it. It's not, here's your protocol, good luck, we'll see you in 6 weeks. It's, here's your protocol. We're going to have a phone call every week until this really becomes your habit. You got this.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. I think I have recently been a part of a handful of groups that I'm going to say speak a different language, meaning, yes, we're speaking English, you guys, but what I mean is, whether it's in business and entrepreneur, when you're with this specific group, the excitement, the language, what's possible is so different than in other arenas. I'm in another group that right now we have a huge focus on looking at how would you get in, like, ultra health, physical, mental, spiritual, the whole thing. And what does that look like? And what's your resilience to it? And when the whole group talks that way, it's like, oh, me too. Oh, me too. Oh my gosh, I want to try that. Right. So those are conversations many of you may never be having at the coffee with your girlfriends, out to dinner with a group of friends. I would imagine most typical conversations are, oh my God, my kids are driving me crazy. Oh my gosh, I've been so busy. Oh my gosh, I'm exhausted. Oh my gosh, I'm planning my next vacation. They're probably not like, oh my gosh, I got the coolest device to help me with my biohacking, or I've been regularly doing my lymphatic drainage every day.
What do you do for your lymphatic drainage, right? But that should be what we're talking about.
It should be what we're talking about, because wellness is life wellness, family wellness, community wellness. And what I've learned that, and I've had some real personal experiences lately, physically, mentally, emotionally, that what I've been learning and implementing in my life has been able to be absorbed by my children and others around me. And many times people say that your kids or your friends or the community, things are caught, not taught. We can tell people things and talk out of the mouth, but if we don't do it and walk the walk, the people aren't going to do. And when I've been able to walk the walk and watch those around me start implementing or following the same things, I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool. And I think you would find, if you're in a community that walks the walk and we talk wellness, that's just so cool, because it elevates everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. And there is that point where you think, how did I think that way for so long?
And I think every one of us has been there. I mean, that's just the world planted that in us for years. Mm-hmm. So, there's a time you start thinking outside the box and you're like, nah. And then you go a little bit more and you're like, but maybe. And then nah. And then maybe it's finally like, okay, but I think everyone's going to think I'm crazy. And then you're like, I'm alone. No one else thinks the way I think. And then finally you're like, ooh, I think I found my tribe. They're kind of crazy like me. Oh my gosh, we're not crazy. This is so cool. But it's like this little bits, right?
Yeah. It's a tap on the shoulder and it just gets, more pronounced as you go. Even some of you listening to this today, you may have heard that tap and go, golly, this makes so much sense now. You just never know, but listen to the tap, listen to the whisper. It's meant for you to hear. It's not, no accident.
Oh my gosh. So you guys, this is like one of a kind. We've created for you, hearing loud voices say they need this. You might not have known exactly how this would unfold, but if you could write down and journal about your wish list of what you would like to be taken care of for wellness, what would that look like? I think Heidi and I have been able to create something pretty close to what you would put down as your wish list. So we have two real offerings for you guys that we want to be sure to share, because next week we're doing a wellness reset. We're doing a program that's going to help you say, you may think what you've been doing is a chore. So you don't like it. You don't look forward to it. You ditch it. It's you have the mindset that it's hard or difficult or complicated or expensive, or it's just not for you. Like you're just supposed to be sick. That's your mindset, right? It's not funny, Heidi. Come on, everyone has to laugh, because we've all over time said that about ourselves or had that experience ourselves. And many of you out there, I hope you're laughing going, oh God, how many times have I thought that?
Yeah. During perimenopause, it was like, okay, I'm just going to be fat. Okay. I guess I'm left with this body. No, not true.
Not true. Not true. Oh gosh, you guys. So we want to help you start designing some things to really shift your mindset in wellness with some routines that are going to stick for you. So, and really give you an introduction to functional medicine for those of you that kind of like, what even is it? I don't even know. And in all of that, why it is important to be part of such a community and have accountability with coaching and stuff, right? So we're going to have a great 3 days. There might be a bonus day. You'll see, look out, that you can kind of ask us anything. So I would say jump in. And even if you can't join us live, you'll always get the replay, but we'd love for you to join us. And the other thing that we have coming is the doors are open for our Concierge Wellness program. It's going to be starting in May. We would absolutely love for you guys to join us. There is going to be a VIP option as well. So reach out to Dr. Heidi and I, whoever you've connected with or know, or just one of us, it doesn't really matter. We'll talk to you about what this Concierge Wellness program looks like, how we can support you. But no matter what, in the meantime, definitely sign up to be with us next week. It'll be tons and tons of fun. And we always appreciate you guys. Always appreciate each and every one of you.
Absolutely. All the time. Love your comments, your feedback, who you are.
And if you've got a burning question that you're like, oh, I want to know about this, I've been hearing about it or reading about it or something, then remember, let us know. And we're happy to come do a podcast. That's how a lot of them get started, is people ask the question. And if you have it, other people have it. So we want to be here to support each and every one of you guys.
Absolutely.
Okay. Until next time, everyone.
See you later.
See you soon.
Be well.